Today, of course, is a day of remembrance for the 9/11 attacks on America. You're looking at pictures of ceremonies now underway at Ground Zero. 15 years later, the wreckage of the Twin Towers has long since been cleared, and a new tower has risen in their place. Even so, sorrow and healing share the site in equal measure. With Martha Teichner now, we pay our respects.
Are they the tears of a nation weeping? Or a soothing rain, forever trying to wash away the horror of what happened here? This is where the Twin Towers stood. Look down. You cannot see the bottom. And you cannot come here and forget for a moment that achingly perfect blue sky morning, September 11th, 2001.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my God.
When the planes hit. When the towers fell. When nearly 3,000 people died on this spot. It is hallowed ground. But 15 years later, life coexists with death.
Some people see a cleansing, a catharsis when they see the water. Others see tears. What do you see?
I see tears, but I also see diamonds.
Judith Dupre has spent more than 20 years documenting the World Trade Center site and has written a book about its transformation since 9/11.
This project is as much a part of 9/11 as the falling towers were. It's all on a continuum. Life is for the living. People need to live. It is a way of honoring the dead.
Since this memorial opened in 2011, more than 28 million people have gazed at the names of the 9/11 dead, those killed at the World Trade Center, also the 40 who died at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and 184 others at the Pentagon. A rose means it's someone's birthday.
Having your son's name on this panel, what does that mean to you?
Hopefully they're not going to forget him.
Lee Ielpi's son Jonathan was 29, a firefighter killed in the South Tower.
I brought the First Lady of Japan here. She immediately did this. Water is very special.
It's like holy water.
Yeah, exactly.
Ielpi was one of the so-called Band of Dads, retired firefighters who raced to the Trade Center site to help, and then spent months digging through the rubble for the bodies of their sons. Of them all, only his son was found.
You know, we found Jonathan on the 11th of December.
15 years on, Ielpi is still here, an advocate for September 11th families and co-founder of the 9/11 Tribute Center.
When I had the coat, I could hug it.
Where his son's coat and helmet are now on display.
Jonathan and my buddies are doing what they love to do. The birthday and my son's gear. Difficult.
9 months after the World Trade Center attacks, the site had been cleared, except for one nearly 60-ton beam, by then covered with the names and photos and jottings of the people who had done the clearing. And just as it had, each time human remains were found, activity at Ground Zero stopped when that last column was removed and reverently borne away. But when the 9/11 Memorial Museum opened in 2014, 12 years later, there it was, the building built around it. When you go there, it all comes back, the feeling you had that day if you lived in New York City. a sickness almost.
John was a music and dance king.
You're haunted again by the faces of the lost.
You know, she had just a wonderful zest for life.
All the smiling people whose stories have to be told for them here.
What you're looking at here is called impact steel. This is where 9/11 begins.
On Friday mornings, Greg Carafello is a volunteer docent.
I'm a survivor of 2 World Trade, so I was here that day, and I owned a business inside the building, in 2 World Trade South Tower.
The owner of a digital printing business in the South Tower. He nearly died on 9/11. His office was destroyed.
These stairs are also known as a pathway to freedom.
And yet here he is, week after week, right where it happened.
What do you get out of it?
I get a freedom from that day.
What do you mean?
There's a certain luggage that you carry since that day. And for me, it's a freedom to speak to the people and to share the experience, but also it's just cathartic. It lets me feel better in sharing my story with them.
He's with another printing company now and could work anywhere. But his office is on the 85th floor of the new One World Trade Center. Greg Carafello is the only Twin Towers businessman willing to take a chance on the site again.
It's an act of pride. Coming back to one of the greatest buildings that I've ever been involved with, as far as looking at the way it's built and the beauty of it, I think it's a salute to what we do in America.
It is 1,776 feet high, counting its spire. And like practically everything else on the 16-acre site, it didn't happen without fights over its design, over its name. One World Trade Center instead of the original Freedom Tower. Over what if, God forbid, there were another attack.
One World Trade Center is built around a concrete core. That core is made of the strongest concrete ever used anywhere on a skyscraper. And so, should anything happen, all of the occupants, as well as all the communication systems, everything you might need, it's all protected inside of the core.
There are ghostly nods to the Twin Towers, but what's new here at what used to be called Ground Zero has been built to be beautiful. The Oculus is a train station and a shopping mall.
When I came in here the first time, it was almost heavenly in a way.
Sunday Morning commissioned photographer Daniel Jones to take these pictures. "15 years after 9/11, the World Trade Center is still a work in progress, with as many as 3 buildings not yet even begun. The cost? $15 billion and counting. Too much or a necessary down payment on healing?
26,000 people worked on this site. They gave it their all. And in the process of giving it their all, of doing back-breaking work, they also were the beneficiaries of the redemption that comes with that. They were after completion, they were after wholeness, and there isn't a single person that did not say they worked on this project on behalf of all those who died.
It is a place to look down and weep. But it is also a place to look up and rejoice.